Hello, everybody. My name is Cream Soda, and today I want to help outline some useful tips and strategies you can use to help you hit more shots and how Slinger players line up those cool gap shots and prediction shots. This is a four-parter. It might seem like a lot of information, but once you put it together and actually use it in a game, it'll come naturally to you the more you do it, and over time, it'll just become second nature. You won't even think about it, you'll just do it, and it'll lead to you hitting more shots and overall just getting better at playing the killer. So without further delay, let's get into the first tip, which is map knowledge. I'm going to show you some shots that you can't hit first and then some shots that you can hit after.
To the town of our free rode a stranger one fine day. Hardly spoke to folks around him, didn't have too much to say. No one dared to ask his business, no one dared to make a slip. The stranger there among them had a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was early in the morning when he rode into the town. He came riding from the south side, slowly looking all around. He's an outlaw, loose and running, came the whisper from each lip, and he's here to do some business with a big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. In this town there lived an outlaw by the name of Texas Red. Many men had tried to take him, and that many men were dead. He was vicious and a killer, though a youth of 24, and the notches on his pistol numbered 1 in 19 more, 1 in 19 more. Now the stranger started talking, made it plain to folks around. Was an Arizona Ranger, wouldn't be too long in town. He came here to take an outlaw back alive or maybe dead, and he said it didn't matter, he was after Texas Red, after Texas Red. Wasn't long before the story was relayed to Texas Red. But the outlaw didn't worry, men that tried before were dead. 20 men had tried to take him, 20 men had made a slip. 21 would be the ranger with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. The morning passed so quickly, it was time for them to meet. It was 20 past 11 when they walked out in the street. Folks were watching from the windows, everybody held their breath. They knew this handsome ranger was about to meet his death, about to meet his death. There was 40 feet between them when they stopped to make their play. And the swiftness of the ranger is still talked about today. Texas Red had not cleared leather for a bullet fairly ripped, and the ranger's aim was deadly with the big iron on his hip, big iron on his hip. It was over in a moment and the folks had gathered round. There before them lay the body of the outlaw on the ground. Oh, he might have went on living, but he made one fatal slip when he tried to match the ranger with the big iron on his hip.
Next up, we have manipulating survivor movement. Now that we have a baseline of what we can and can't shoot through, the next step in order to make use of that is manipulating survivor movement. What I mean by that is the killer controls the direction the chase goes at any loop, so you use that to your advantage. A basic example is if a survivor vaults a window and then goes left or right, you go and mirror them, and that causes their pathing to go back toward the window, where if you're ready for it, you can spear them through it. Now that is pretty basic and an easy to learn tactic that can be used on any killer, but on Slinger it's a necessity, as you need to be effective and efficient with your power in order to really create pressure and ultimately win games. Here's another good example on Toba, on one of the filler palettes, of manipulating survivor movement. This works on most filler tiles in the game. So the idea is, instead of just chasing them one way, you do a mind game, you double back, do something to make them hesitate just a second. To where once you double back into them, it gives you a good clean shot either over the tile or you're close enough to just shoot them directly. Here we have an actual in-game scenario where I manipulated the survivor's movement in order to get it down. The Steve was lurking around potentially for a save. He saw that I noticed him and he started running away. I then acted like I was going to turn around and pick the sable. He hesitated for a second, and it let me turn around and get a quick shot off, which resulted in a down. So to summarize what we've went over, manipulating a survivor movement is simply using the killer to dictate where the survivor goes in chase, and you use this to your advantage. In order to put yourself in the most advantageous position to get the shot that you want. It's not just useful for windows, it's also useful for the little gap shots, which I will show you here after this. Just practice it. Make sure that you're not afraid to miss your shots. Missing shots is how you get better. You're not going to get better unless you take shots. Everybody misses shots, so it's nothing to be ashamed of. Make sure you're confident. Make sure you keep on firing. And let's go ahead and get into the next tip, which is now predicting survivor movement. So here we have a prediction / timing shot on Larry's. And basically all it means is you don't have a clear line of sight on the survivor, and so you're predicting their movement, what way they're going to go. And in this case, I correctly predict that she's going to go left across the window, and so it allows me to get a clean shot off. So this is the similar idea. Essentially, she could have went anywhere inside of that room, but I predict that she's going to cross the doorway, and so I line up a shot with the doorway, and she does run that way, and so I'm able to get an easy hit. Very similar shot here, although more difficult. I have to correctly predict and time the moment that she runs in front of my crosshairs, and without being able to see her, I have to know in my head how long it will take her to get from where she is at the beginning to where she is when I hit her. Side note, a good rule of thumb whenever you're not in line of sight with a survivor is about 2.5 to 3 seconds is a good general rule to keep before you fire. Every loop is different and you'll kind of get a feel for it as you play, but a good rule, like especially on Shack, is around 2.5 seconds, close to 3 seconds before you should be shooting. If you hold it any longer than that, they're probably not going to run by and you're wasting your time. You're talking about the... I didn't get any value from that, but it's pretty sick. So now that we've covered the basics of general map knowledge, manipulating survivor movement, and predicting survivor movement, we're going to put them all together into one and use them all simultaneously in order to hit the shots that we want to hit. So I will preface this by saying all of this is for naught if you don't have good timing. And there's nothing better than to just play the game and get the experience to learn the timing. As I mentioned before, a good rule of thumb is anywhere between 2.5, 3 seconds by the time you ADS to by the time you fire. That's not going to work on all the tiles in the game, but if you start with that, you should have some success, and then you can go from there. And you'll kind of get it in your head what you need to be doing and how long you should wait before you fire on certain loops. So, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it, and let's see what it looks like when you put all of those together into one. So here, we force the survivor upstairs. I notice he's not looking behind him. So I then back up, predict he won't hold a check spot, and then hit him as he's running out to me. So here's another good example. Here I indirectly manipulate her survivor movement because I had already shot her through the door here prior in the game. And so she's wary of that, doesn't go through the door, and instead goes around the long side of Shack, where I then correctly predict that she's not going to hold W and instead cross the boarded windows. I then have the correct timing, and I get the hit through the boarded up Shack window. Here, same thing. He runs into me, in which I could have easily just, M1'd him. But I force him around the corner. He thinks I'm going to commit to the chase. I then step back, and then all prediction, all timing, because I can't see him, I know when he's about to cross under that hole, and then I get the hit, and it's an easy down. Here, same thing. I show myself to the right. She sees me. She wants to make a loop around. I step back, aim, fire, get the hit. So in conclusion, you want to first gain the map knowledge of what you can and can't shoot through, and then you want to practice manipulating how the survivor moves in chase at any loop, really. There's not really a reason for you not to always put yourself in a position to take a good shot. And then you have to predict what a survivor is going to do when you can't see them, around corners, walls, whatever. And then practice your timing. And timing is only going to come with practice and gameplay. Just don't be afraid to miss your shots. Take as many shots as possible. You lose nothing from missing shots. You might lose the game, but really you're gaining experience. You're learning how the killer works, what you can, what you can't do. I hope this video helped anybody out there. And if you ever have any questions, if you ever want to pick up Slinger and you'd like some help, I'm more than happy to help you guys. This is my favorite killer. I think more people should be playing Slinger, and I would love to see some more people get into him and really try and learn the ins and outs. But anyway, like I said, I hope this helped you guys. If you enjoyed it, consider giving it a thumbs up, maybe even a subscribe. I usually don't ask for that stuff, but I really put a lot into this video trying to help. And it would help share it and help it reach other people as well that might need this. So you don't have to. Obviously, I just do this stuff for fun. But that's all for me. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Much love and stay carbonated, friends.